Arabica. Arabica. Which one is it? Nobody knows? Which one sounds better? Arabica. Arabica. Arabia. Arabica. Arabica. Arabica.
Say something in normal voice.
Arabica. 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 Arabian Night. I'm live? No, I'm not. What? But I'm not on the screen, right? But I'm saying Arabian Night. It's gonna be a little bit. Arabica. What? Well, first I talk about the coffee beans. Oh, sorry, I can't tell if you're looking at me. No, I talk for maybe almost a minute first. Yep. So I talk about the coffee beans, and then once I'm done talking about the coffee beans, that's when you bring it in. And then I start talking about coffee cups. Arabica. Arabica. Hi, my name is Carly. Welcome back to another segment of the Coffee Clutch. As always, I'm here to talk to you about everything coffee. Coffee is like changing a tire on a car. You might think that you don't know what to do until someone shows you what to do. Then it's super easy. There's more to coffee than just sugar and creamer, and I'm here today to tell you all about it. There's so many ways that you can take your coffee. You can have a big coffee, a small coffee, a hot coffee, or even a cold coffee. Now I know what you're thinking, cold coffee, ew, but you're wrong. I have found that some cold coffee is the best out there. You probably won't believe me until you try yourself. So let's start out by talking about some of the basic beans. There are so many different types of coffee beans. The 4 main types of coffee beans around the world are Arabica, Robusta, Liberica, and Excelsa. Depending on how they're grown, they can offer many different tasting notes. For instance, Arabica tends to taste sweeter and softer, with tones of sugar, fruit, and berries. Robusta tends to taste harsher with a grain-like overtone and a peanutty aftertaste. Liberica tends to taste floral, fruity, but also has a smoky taste. Some people have mentioned that it tastes kind of woody. Excelsa tends to taste tart and fruity, which flavors resemble a light roast. It took me a while to figure out exactly which type of coffee was my favorite, so you just have to start trying them to find out what you like. Okay, so if you don't know what you like, then try some out. If you do know what you like, then that's cool. Just stick with it or try something new. Either way, when you walk into a coffee shop, you should know what you want and how you like it. At coffee shops, they talk a little bit different when it comes to sizes. Let's go over the sizes you can choose from when ordering your coffee, because some of it is Italian, which can be confusing to some people. A short cup is 8 ounces, which is basically like a small. A tall is 12 ounces, which is pretty much like a medium. A grande, which actually means large, is a large. Venti, which means 20 ounces, is a 20-ounce cup, which kind of means extra large. Okay, so there are countless ways of preparing your coffee. Some people like black, some people like a little creamer, some people want their coffee to be fancy with ice cream and whipped cream. It's all about what you like. Now, as I said before, there's a bunch of different ways to prepare for your coffee. I'm going to go over a few of them that I'm familiar with. That way you kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. So brewed coffee, we all know what that is, right? It's made with brewed grounded coffee beans and hot water. Pretty simple, right? Espresso is a full flavored, concentrated form of coffee that is served in shots. It is made by forcing pressurized hot water through very finely ground coffee beans using an espresso machine. What this does is it makes the espresso stronger, thicker, and higher in caffeine. So let's go over a couple more. A latte is made with espresso and steamed milk. A cappuccino is made with espresso, hot milk, and steamed milk foam. Americano, made with coffee, espresso, and hot water. A flat white is made with espresso and microfoam. Mochas are really good. They're made with chocolate, milk, and espresso. A macchiato, which actually is my favorite, made with espresso and milk. Iced coffee, pretty much what it says, it's made with coffee and ice, and then you can add cream if you want to. We all know what a hot chocolate is, right? Made with cocoa powder, with heated milk or water. I think milk is the best. A frappuccino, made with coffee or a cream base, blended with ice and flavored syrups, usually topped with whipped cream and drizzle. And then a frappe, made with ice cream, steamed milk, and espresso. Talking about all this coffee, I feel like I can just smell the aroma in the air. This commercial is brought to you by Starbucks. That first sip feeling. Welcome back to the Coffee Clutch. Okay, so now that you know what type of coffee you might like, the size you might want to order, and how you would like it served, let's talk a little bit more about the great and powerful Starbucks. Starbucks is the biggest coffee chain in the world. Reports show in June of 2019, there are approximately 15,000 locations in the US, just in the US alone, and about 30,000 in the whole world. Starbucks was founded March 30th, 1971. That's 50 years of great coffee. The first Starbucks ever was in Seattle, Washington. And the men who founded Starbucks, our names are Gordon Bowker, Jerry Baldwin, and Zev Siegel. Keep in mind, this coffee shop has done nothing but progress over those 50 years. continuously thriving. Starbucks net revenue reached 26.51 billion US dollars in 2019. The global coffeehouse chain has seen a year-over-year increase in revenue for the past decade. It's crazy to think about one source of coffee could make so much money. People love coffee. It's kind of crazy. It's one of the most popular hot beverages in the world. So I guess that makes sense, right? It was reported that Starbucks had an average of just over 500 customers per day. It was also reported that that number would grow to more than 750 customers per day in 2020. If you have ever worked in any type of fast-paced restaurant, you know firsthand that that number is crazy for a single day. Any of the drinks that I have mentioned previously can be ordered at any Starbucks location. That's not all that you can order from Starbucks, though. They have a pretty big menu. You can also order juice, steamers, hot tea, iced tea, and other cold drinks. They also have a small food menu as well. They have some pretty tasty sandwiches at a reasonable price. Okay, so now that we know all about how Starbucks is thriving, amazing, and delicious, let's go over some of the fun facts about Starbucks. So did you know that Starbucks has two sizes of coffee cups that aren't listed on the menu? They have a demi cup, which is 3 ounces, and they have the Trenta cup, which is 31 ounces. Also, Starbucks has a secret menu, although it's not really a secret if we know about it, right? Also, Starbucks certified managers are called coffee masters, and they wear black aprons. And last but not least, did you know that Starbucks has a record label? Okay, so let's talk a little bit more into detail about some of these fun facts. The demi-sized cup at Starbucks is essentially 4 shots of espresso. The Trenta-sized cup is basically 4 iced coffee. So you can't really get anything else in the 31-ounce cup other than iced coffee. So, Starbucks and the mysterious secret menu. To make things clear, any coffee shop and any restaurant can have a secret menu. All that really means is that you want to customize your order to change it to something special. This something special is not found on the menu. Therefore, it is off the secret menu. You basically need to know your ingredients and ask the barista nicely to put them together for you. Okay, so all of the employees at Starbucks wear green aprons, right? If you train and become certified to having expert coffee knowledge, only then will you be considered a coffee master, and then you'll be able to wear the black apron. Okay, so last but not least, this record label. So Starbucks is often known for the music that they have playing in the background of each store. That record label is called Hear Music. Okay, so now we're talking, since now we're done talking about all the fun facts and the secrets of Starbucks, let's talk a little bit about the logo. Have you ever been curious about what it means? The logo itself is a siren in an ancient Norse woodcut. So what's a Norse woodcut? It is a relief printing service consisting of a wooden block with a pictorial design cut with the grain. A siren is what we call a mermaid. From the Greek mythology, women or winged creatures whose singing lured unwary sailors to rocks. Basically what that is. The mysterious noctical figure called to them as sirens do. The logo was designed to reflect the seductive imagery of the sea. The siren signifies the maritime history of coffee and the seaports of Seattle. You know, the city where Starbucks originated. Okay, so are we having any fun? Let's talk a little bit more about why you should pick Starbucks as your coffee shop. To wrap up the segment, I'm going to talk about why I think you should choose Starbucks as your coffee shop. So number one, the atmosphere is super chill. Number two, there is availability of healthy options. Number three, there are dairy-free options. Number four, the specialty drinks are the most iconic. Number five, they give you free birthday drinks. Number six, they offer free refills if you're a member. Number seven, you can get free water. Number eight, it's super customizable. Number nine, they have organic coffee. And number 10, Frappuccinos. There is a bunch of other reasons why you should pick Starbucks, but we could honestly talk about that all day. And my coffee is starting to get cold. I hope you guys had a great time watching the Coffee Clutch. My name is Carly, and I hope you have a great day.
This is Shua Lee on Let's Eat with That Asian Guy. Let's grub with that Asian guy. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shua, your host here on Let's Grub with That Asian Guy. Test, can you hear me? Hello, my name is Shua. I'm the host here on Let's Grub with That Asian Guy. Let's grub with that Asian guy. What?
It's similar, right?
I was like, no way. Mine is annoying. Mine is annoying. That's the reason why I picked it. Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Shuali, your host here on Let's Grub with That Asian Guy. And we got a good episode for you guys tonight. We're eating at Egg Roll Deli and Food. Here we'll be trying out the teriyaki fries, mussels, pho, so much other dishes. I don't even know what they're called. So, yeah, let's head on over to Egg Roll Deli and Food Truck and let's grub, shall we? We have the teriyaki fries. So chicken teriyaki, some cilantro, diced onions on some french fries. And I will say, when you say uniqueness, this is it. That looks so good. Look at that. If I was Mark Wiens, I'd be making a face right now. But unique food with great taste though. We got some egg rolls too. Your egg rolls dipping sauce. What is that? Like a sweet sauce dipping. Yeah, so we still are waiting for everything else too. We got pho coming. We have Krabby Rangoons. Everything as well. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, we got the regular pho combo. We got tripe in there. We got steak. We got meatballs. Everything. Look how good it looks. You got all your sauces here. You basically got beef paste. Got some bean sprouts, jalapenos, chili garlic sauce, sriracha sauce.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
And
Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Some big bowls and so good food. All this food. You think we'll finish it? I don't know, but definitely worth every penny because this place is. Yeah, so if you guys haven't tried it, then look at this. This is really. Look at that. Look how good that looks. Try some of this. Let me try some of these teriyaki chicken, glazed chicken. You got cheese on it, cheese on fries. With that, you can't beat that. Honestly, eating this whole thing, I probably couldn't finish it, but. In the words of Mark Wiens. I used to watch Mark Wiens' video. Mark Wiens or Mark Wiens. I remember he always makes that face. That was good. I think if I eat this whole bowl, I probably wouldn't even be able to eat the pho. But we got so much food. We still have Krabby Rangoons coming. We still have what else do we order? Mussels, stir-fried mussels too as well. Yeah, so practically you have the chili garlic sauce here. Add a little bit of that into the pho. Oh, this is a different one. I don't have this one. Sorry about that. You got some fried garlic. Make that pho taste a little, get that little garlic taste to it. Gotta have that. Fried garlic. You got the chili oil. This is definitely spicy. Don't put too much of it unless you can take it, but it's like a hot oil. As we were waiting, stir-fried mussels. Oh, look how good that looks. New item on the menu. I didn't even know they had this. They also have, is it clams, I think? Yeah. That does look good, though. Look at that. And then we got, what is this, Pep?
Glass noodles.
Glass noodles. What is that, cabbage? Some green onions. Got some rice with that. So, man, this. Got some scallions. Who needs a fork? I think most dishes you just eat it with your hands. Always tastes better. I don't know why. And I wash my hands, yes. Though it's like a sweeter taste to it. Really good tasting. Teriyaki fries. Definitely a sweet, salty taste. Really good fries. As long as you can see, I didn't even finish my pho, so a little too much food in my belly. But for affordable prices, though, for how much food they give you, they always give you more than enough food. So.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, Eating with the Asian Guy. So you're always welcome to grub with me. You guys stay tuned for next week's episode where we taste the great food at Asian Joy out on East Mason in Green Bay. And a quick sponsor, a mic pop filter that'll make sure you're not off key. It will smack you. So, but well, folks, that's all I have for this episode, and stay tuned for next week's episode. And you guys have a good one. Stay grubbing, all right?
I'm Brooke DeBlay this is Brooke's Books. So I'm going to be doing a book review today on The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. So Rin Chupeco is a Chinese-Filipino writer of young adult fiction. She is best known for The Bone Witch and her series The Girl from the Well. When she began writing, most of her inspiration was from Japanese tales, but she noticed that they tended to favor male aggressors and that the women never had good endings in her books, so that strongly influenced how she wrote The Bone Witch and who she made like the villain in the story. Aside from that, one of her other greatest influences for writing was she identifies as pansexual and non-binary. So one of the things that I'm actually going to talk about in the book review today is how a lot of her characters tend to be from the LGBTQ community, which is super cool. So first I'm going to watch a brief book trailer of it, and then I'm going to give you a synopsis on the book.
Let me be clear. I never intended to raise my brother from his grave, though he may claim otherwise. If there's anything I've learned from him in the years since, it's that the dead hide truths as well as the living. I have not been a bone witch for very long, whatever stories you've heard, but this was the first lesson I learned. I understand now why people fear bone witches. Theirs is not the magic found in storybooks. This is death magic. And from the start, I wielded it with ease.
How before every chapter starts, she's actually talking in the present, and the chapters itself is her explaining what happened in the past that kind of led her to this present situation where she's actually living in exile. So as a bone witch, which is basically necromancy, that's her gift as a witch. In the culture, in the society that they live in, bone witches are incredibly rare and incredibly valuable, although they're also strongly feared because of their gifts. They're needed because they have Deva, I think, or Diva, I'm sorry, I'm definitely saying that wrong, which are these like monstrous creatures that were created by using death magic, so the only way to put them down is through these bone witches, but there's so few of them that like they can't afford to have anything happen to these bone witches, which is what has happened in the past, is they've been killed off and such, which is why they're so rare now and so important. So one of the really cool things too about the world that she created is in this book she has heart's glass, which is like basically a glass that's made of hearts, that's shaped like a heart, and the color will change inside the heart's glass to demonstrate someone's emotions, and it will also be able to show if someone has like magic or not. They can also show you like they have black heart's glass, which can only be obtained through murder and stuff like that. As soon as someone kills someone, their heart's glass will turn black, and it actually gives some really strong, cool abilities if your heart's glass is black. That sounds really bad. But okay, so that's kind of what's going on, and like she found out she was a bone witch after she resurrected her brother on accident, and that's one of the great things about this book is it focuses a lot more on the brother and sister as a relationship and a family relationship, not a romantic interest, which I really liked about it. The other thing that I found really fascinating is because she's a Chinese Filipino writer, it was based around Asian culture, which like if you've ever read any YA novels before, most of them are based around American culture, so they tend to follow the same plot lines and the same world building rules. So this one was super cool in the fact that like there was these things I never would have thought of, and like you got to experience a different culture and stuff. Just truly really fascinating, and I loved it. The second thing that I really liked about the book was, as I said before, she had a lot of LGBTQ members in the book, and like it was just as controversial as it kind of is today. Like there were some people that hated them and wanted like them to kill them and such, and then there were other people that were totally accepting of it and like didn't even care. But it was just really nicely handled and totally realistic of today. So totally love this book, other than like I have 2 critiques of it. Well, I said that there was a romantic relationship. There kind of was, but like it didn't take away from the storyline, which was good. But about halfway through this book, like the pacing just got really slowed down, and it became much harder to read through because you're kind of the Bone Witches and the Asha are similar to geishas, and it got to be a little bit too political and stuff, and I have a very hard time reading politic books, so that was hard. My second critique of the book is the main author, the main character, Tia, had what's kind of known as special snowflake syndrome. It's a book reader thing. It's where one of the characters feels that they're like more important than everyone else, and they start demanding special treatment. And if they don't get special treatment, the really bad part is they start throwing like a temper tantrum like a child would. And it's really frustrating when that happens. But the nice thing is it's a trilogy, and if you read all 3, you can see the character development in Tia as that kind of like she goes away from that snowflake syndrome, which is really nice. But otherwise, yeah, great book. Would totally recommend. It's on my top like 5 favorite books ever. So next time, I'm going to be looking at The Renegades by Marissa Meyer, which is another trilogy. Yeah, I like trilogies. Not too long, but not too short. So have a great day.
Okay, hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, how about now? Normal voice, testing, 1, 2, testing. Welcome to episode 2 of Dying of Boredom in Swamico. It's been a long winter, but it looks like we're coming out of it slowly but surely here, pandemic and all. Let's see what we've been doing over at our house as we try not to die of boredom. We've been napping a lot of naps. We tried the frozen boiling water challenge thing. It didn't work out great. We got this, and it just kind of fizzled out. But it was fun. It was freezing cold. We went to Dave & Buster's. My kid played with virtual reality. It ended up looking more like a Tai Chi lesson. He had a ton of fun, though. I think he might have broke that machine. I learned that virtual reality makes me sick. I almost yacked on the Terminator ride. Last time you saw that the lake looked pretty good. Little guy's riding around there on a snowmobile. This turn looked real nice and solid. Everything's A-okay with the lake levels. Now, take a look at it only 2 weeks later, and it looks like there's something wrong. It's thawing out. It's nothing but dangerous now. I'm scared to go out there. Same spot as last time, only now there's a big sinkhole. Even with all this going on, though, people still manage to ice fish. I don't understand this hobby at all. I've never understood it. I like to fish, but when I do it, I like to look at green stuff and water. I don't see the point in sitting in a shack and cutting a hole in the ice and waiting. It just seems boring to me. I wish somebody would explain it to me. That's just boring. That just looks boring. Those guys sat out there all day, and it was 45 degrees out. That would just scare the hell out of me. Here's the north end of our little lake, and you can see those spots there. Those black spots are where it's cracking up, and we won't be able to use it for much longer. So, lake time is almost running out at our house. We'll probably only get one more snowmobile ride in before the year's up, and we'll have to figure out some ways to kill the boredom there. We've also been getting into some light dog torture at our house. I learned that these dumb dogs really, really, really hate my drone. They absolutely hate it. They want to kill it. So this is kind of a fun way to get these dogs to nap for hours and hours. The brown one's a trick dog. The other one's just kind of dumb. All right. So that's a fun way to kill some time. We have to walk these dumb dogs every day or they get real antsy. They got to get out and exercise. And they do love the drone, or hate it, I should say. Okay, that was what the dogs have been up to. And in a recurring segment, on the show, I like to interview my 12-year-old about just kind of whatever. So here he goes, his opinion on whatever's in his life right now. Hi, Holden.
Hi.
How you been?
Good.
Yeah, how's your quarantine going? You're back in school now, actually, right?
Yeah.
Full time.
Still, yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess I wasn't last time you did this.
No, we were still working virtually last time we did this. How's it being back?
I don't know.
You don't like it?
It's just, I don't know. I mean, with everything, like, with nothing going on, it's kind of nice, but, you know, if it was any other year, it would be bad.
Why do you say that? What do you mean, any other year?
Because, like, there's things to do, like, if coronavirus wasn't a thing.
Yeah, you can't really do anything. Let's talk about your new obsession on TV. Maybe I'll take a vote at school whether or not people think this is appropriate for a 12-year-old
I
boy
don't care.
to be able to quote Family Guy verbatim almost now. You've got the whole thing almost
Yeah,
watched.
one more
right?
season and then I'm done.
One more season and you're totally caught up with all of Family Guy.
Yeah. There's There's 18 seasons. I started watching like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm. And you're already through 18 seasons. I don't know if I want people knowing that. 2 months, 18 seasons. Oh, jeez.
At a time.
Yeah. That's I don't want to do the math on that actually. Okay, what's your favorite character in Family Guy? Who's your favorite?
Joe,
Joe.
because he's reasonable.
Yeah, he's reasonable. He's the middle of the road guy in the
Mhm.
crew. Huh. You and I have argued about the chicken episodes, the chicken scenes.
They're creative.
They were It was creative the first time he did that, and then the second time he had the 6-minute chicken fight scene. It's just lazy, right? The thing was funny when he was beating up Donald Trump, but it was just the chicken scene with Donald Trump.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like recently he's been trying to spice it up with other versions of it and not the same thing.
Hmm.
Like with celebrities or stuff like that.
I see. How's everything going with my cooking?
I hate it.
That's not true.
It's horrible. Here, let's go through the past meals, okay?
Okay.
So
good.
what are we having tonight?
Chili.
Okay. What are we? Yesterday potatoes. They were plain.
Really?
Had no flavor to them.
Wow.
Just the.
What about all those vegetables with the balsamic vinegar and
I didn't
the
have
spices?
those.
You didn't have those. You're just a starch only kind of kid.
What do we have on Sunday?
I don't know, man. Pasta, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Well, you ruined that because
How? You don't even remember.
you made it like taste really weird. It was bad.
Your complaints are garbage.
It's like how Mom does it. She's always like, "Oh, we're having pasta," but then she just like spices it up with something she saw on Pinterest.
Pinterest is killing us. Okay, well, anything else you want to say? Do you think we'll get the snowmobile again this year?
No. Well, if we could do it right now, which I want to.
Yeah, it was like 47 degrees today, though. It makes me nervous. And I know that there's like a foot of ice out there, but it looks weird.
Unless there's like that one huge snowstorm in like April, like there always is, then we're probably not going to.
Well, we'll get out there again, I think. Anything else going on?
No.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
Say bye.
Bye.
All right, that was the latest installment from my wise guy 12-year-old, talking like he knows something. He doesn't. He doesn't know anything. I feel like a bad parent because my kid watches Family Guy. Is that weird, you guys? Is that bad? Should I not let him do that? Yeah, okay. All right, well, that's it for episode 2. We'll be back next week with some more fun stuff as we try not to die of boredom in Swamico. And now a word from tonight's sponsors.
Check, 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 check. Okay.
How come it's not popping up on here?
It's controlled with this right now. It's not even controlled with that anymore.
Okay.
Go ahead, talk. Mic check.
Talking, 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 talking. Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I remember when. I remember. Greetings, entities familiar and unfamiliar. You may call me 8618, and this is another episode of Understanding Earth, in which we attempt to figure out everything that humans and other similar entities have been doing with this planet in the time we've been away, and giving you some helpful tips on how to navigate the new environment. So, this episode, we're kicking it off with, for one thing, a new computer that I can assure you was 100% legally acquired. Don't look into that. And we will be discussing some useful information regarding proper protocol for interacting with Earth's humans in a very particular way. Before that, though, I'd like to get a little PSA. If you have seen this chaos entity, or someone you believe might be this chaos entity, anywhere outside of past reruns of the children's show that he has infiltrated, please let us know. We found him earlier there after he had been lost by his caretaker, and then the series ended, so we couldn't track him anymore. It appears the franchise might be getting a revival, but if we don't know if he'll appear there yet. So if you have any tips on that, please inform us. Moving on from that, though, we will be looking today in depth into two particular realms that I suggested in last episode if you don't want to attempt to sort of assimilate with any human, mushroom, or concepts or similar beings' culture. These two realms that we're referring to are the Neverlands and the Wonderlands. Both of them are pretty similar. They're both very heavily populated by children in particular. Since children have a bit more of a, I guess you could call it free-spiritedness, they don't tend to really care about having crazy ideas, so to speak, as much as the adults do, which makes things a bit easier for them to create a world like that. Although it should be mentioned that please do not believe that there are only children who are doing this. We have seen quite a few cases of both worlds being created by authors or really, really, really bored people, so keep on the lookout for that. So, the first one we're going to look into mostly is the Neverland, which is named after a play by J.M. Barrie. A few of you might be familiar with him from a previous protocol break, but luckily he seemed to take the idea of his stride, and he created an interesting literary work, so we're naming him that. Now, Neverlands tend to be sort of representative of different concepts that people come into experience with when they are going about their normal lives, and then they just kind of heighten that, you could say. Neverland is often used as a form of escapism. Since most people, when entering Neverlands, are always awake when they do so, they have a higher level of control over the world, so they tend to make it exactly how they'd want it to make, which often makes them sort of the hero of their own story, where they may sort of fix scenarios that they see in the outside world inside their own one. Beyond that, it's actually pretty similar to a Wonderland in their emotional sort of fluidity. It's just that since it has more restraint, you'll see a bit more of an internal logic and clear basis on the character's desires. A wonderland is named after an encounter from Lewis Carroll. A few of you may have known him before he immigrated to Earth quite a few hundred years ago. The difference between this and Neverland is that in a wonderland, the person is usually asleep, which means that instead of focusing on what they want to do, a wonderland tends to focus on how they feel, which means that they're very free-flowing and based entirely on their emotions. They have a lower level of control most of the time over their environment. So, in both of these cases, both Neverlands and Wonderlands are, of course, being fueled by humans, which means that if you happen to enter either of these worlds, you have quite a high chance of running into them, particularly since humans' capacity for imagination is great in concept, but when imagining things all at once, they can only do a little at each time. I think there's a popular phrase around here that you can't imagine 200 otters, I think it was. You can only imagine a mass that sort of looks like it. Because of this small space, unless you were to connect several Wonderlands or Neverlands together, which is not recommended by WHO, then you're likely to run into a human just because of how low the area is. So, if by any chance you are unlucky enough to run into them when you are exploring the world, you're going to want to avoid alarming them at all costs. Friendly reminder from last week, we do not want them to be aware of our existence, which means you're going to want to do your best to make it look like you're part of the world already and that they're just coming up with you in their head. For children, which are again the most popular creators of these worlds, this can be fairly easy since they tend to kind of roll with everything, and then when they're older they're likely assume that any sense of realism is just something they made up when they were younger. However, you're still going to want to avoid going overboard, so to speak. In Neverlands, of course, they're going to be more aware of what they're consciously imagining and what they're not. And in Wonderlands, if you go too far, you could trigger a negative emotional response which will spiral the world into a nightmare, which you want to avoid at all costs because they will definitely remember this, and that will not work out well. Beyond that, when you are in Wonderlands, I'd also highly recommend that you keep watch over your own emotions, since if you are not careful, these could bleed over and cause effects outside of their control as well. With Neverlands, it's quite a bit easier to deal with, but you are going to want to be more careful, as I said, when dealing with adults or with particularly perceptive children. Now, I'd also recommend that you be wary around, you want to be wary around imaginary. My apologies. It appears this program may have to be cut short a bit. We were already nearing the end anyway, so we will send out a transmission with the rest of the information that we were going to give. Our next segment will likely be rescheduled at a different date. We will let you know when that occurs. I was going to do our sponsor today, but it appears we have been severed from that connection temporarily, so thank you to all of you for watching the rest of this. Next week there's going to be a Q&A, so that should be fun. Submit any appropriate questions that you have, and I'll see how many I can answer then. Thank you, and good luck.